This is part 2 of the tutorial how to machine knit the easy toddler pullover. Here the focus is on shaping the sleeves. Whether you prefer fun stripes or sassy solids, they are easy to knit. You will learn how to knit a narrow automatic picot hem, carry the yarn as the stripes are knit, work fully fashioned increases, and remove the knitting on waste yarn. Overall, this sets us up for part 3 when we put the pullover together. Check out the links in the description below for references and the companion pattern. To begin our sleeve, we're going to set our tension at 5, which is the main tension. Knit in both directions and move it off to the right hand side. Now, I'm going to pull 36 stitches out to hold. Then I'm going to retract half those stitches because we're going to do the automatic picot cast on edge once again. With waste yarn, we're going to knit across these stitches and hang our cast on comb, just like we did on the other parts of the front and the back. So that's in place. Now I'm going to knit about 8 rows. I just wanted to end on the right hand side. I'm going to put my weights on the edges because I'm going to need that. And now I'm going to change to my main color. So I'm threading up with my blue. My contrasting color is an off-white. And I am going to knit 6 rows. But I'm not bringing any of the other needles up yet. That leaves me with the carriage on the right. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to bring up all those needles that I had retracted to work position. Now you can also bring them out to hold position. That's quite acceptable because we're set to knit in both directions, so it's going to knit them whether they're in hold position or not, but this will just help these stitches along. This is where I set my row counter, but you want to set it to 0. Now I'm going to knit 8 rows. I want to make sure they all knit off. This one didn't knit off, so I'm just going to pick up that bar and put it on that needle. I don't know why that's acting up, but okay, I just want to double check. And then I'm going to knit my second row. They all knit off just fine. Okay, so now I'm going to continue to knit until row counter is 8. So now that my hardware is off, I'm going to take my needle selector and I'm going to move the needles, every other needle, just a little bit forward so I can spot them easier. I'm going to go to my very first row of my inside part, which was every other needle, and I'm going to pick up with the right prong and the left prong of my 3-prong tool and hang them on the needles. And I'm going to go across like this until my hem is hung just like we did on the bottom of the sweater. Push these back. Now I am going to help it along, so I'm going to push all of them out to the hold position. Just as a note on this side, I'm going to bring my yarn tail from my very first row and I'm going to wrap it around the end needle and put a weight on it. I don't need to do that, but I like to do that just to tie that end down a little bit. I am also going to change my color. Since the aqua will be used every 4th row, do not cut the yarn. Instead, we will just carry it up the side of the sleeve and simply add the off-white on this row. And I'm going to knit 4 rows. I just want to make sure I knit everything off. Yes, I did. Perfect. Since the white will alternate every 4th row with the aqua, do not cut the yarn, as we will also carry it up the side. When changing the color back, first pick up the aqua, hold it to the left, unthread the off-white, and move it off to the right. Then thread the aqua. For my increases, I'm using my 2 eyelet tool and my 1 eyelet tool. And that's my tool of choice. On this edge, I'm going to take the 2 end stitches out 1 stitch. I'm just going to increase 1 stitch and pop them on there. And I'm going to pick up the bump on this stitch right here and move that and fill the empty needle because I do not want a hole. On this side, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the 2 stitches on the end and do a full-fashioned increase. And I'm only doing it with 2 stitches. I just want the increase to be 1 in from the edge. That'll make seaming easier, especially on a cotton. And I'm going to pick up the bump on the inside stitch, the inside adjacent stitch, and fill that needle. Now to help it along, I'm going to pull those stitches out on this side, and I'm going to pull the stitches out on this side. And I've already switched my yarn back to blue, and I'm going to knit 4 rows. To keep the colors from getting twisted up, remove the color in the left mast, which is the aqua in this case, and hold it to the left. Thread the color in the right mast into the carriage, and then move the aqua to the right and around the table. You will continue to make the increases every 4 rows 4 times more. Then increase every 6th row 7 times. You should end with 60 stitches total. Then work even until row counter equals 76. This means the last stripe would be off-white for this size. In the demonstration, I added 4 additional rows so that the blue stripe would be the last color to contrast the off-white yoke when sewn together. However, in retrospect, it would be better to work until row 76 for this size, then work the final row. In this case, if you want the top of the sleeve to end with aqua, just begin the sleeve with the off-white. The sizes that are impacted are noted in the pattern. Now I'm going to crank my tension up 3 whole numbers, and I'm going to knit 1 more row at the big tension because I'm going to use that to seam later. Thread up at the waist, and I'm just going to knit across and knit about 8 rows altogether. And just knit on. Beautiful. And then I'm going to give it a little stretch. Now it's going to seem like it's longer than it's supposed to be, but it will shrink down after it rests for a couple of hours or overnight. You can remove this waist yarn on this side if you'd like. And just find the end that has the end and then go to the other side. And what I like to do is just stick my needle right in here and pull that end loop until I get my fingers in there, and I'm just going to pull it all the way through, and this just peels off. Now I do like to look at it to make sure, yes, I got that end right there. So I do like to look at it because sometimes if you miss that little bump on the end when you're hanging the hem, it'll be an open stitch. And if that was the case, I would just put a little stitch marker on it so that I could catch it up later when I do the seams. So there is our little sleeve, and it's just going to be adorable when I'm all finished. In part 3 of how to machine knit the easy toddler pullover, the sweater is put together using 3 techniques: sewing, seaming on the machine, and using the mattress stitch. Hope to see you then. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please take a moment to subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications of upcoming videos and events. Happy machine knitting!